Okay, my friends, this really is critical. They're talking about freedom of the press, and it is being, they're afraid, they're intimidated, there's bullies out there, but there's also bullies in academia who have intimidated people that want to bring information forward. Here's what he has to say. This is the most important thing he said in the whole thing. Listen.
We all need to be on guard. I would reiterate the point about, if you see good journalism out there that does challenge you and your assumptions and does introduce really hard facts into the conversation. If you see a ProPublica piece that you like, if you see a New Yorker piece you like, support that.
All right, he's talking about politics and so forth. It goes much deeper than that. The basic foundation of factual information has been destroyed, literally destroyed by doctrine and peer review and suppression, literal suppression, which is an academic fraud. I looked it up, how to prosecute academic failure, and at some point it's going to be class action lawsuits. You cannot be this incompetent for this long and this arrogant to dismiss factual evidence that the kids are paying for. They're paying to be informed of information. There is new information. If it's denied and set aside and suppressed, that's academic failure. All right, here it is right here. Investigating academic fraud. Now this is about in the medical area, but it doesn't matter. It's all the same. Academics is academics. Defining academic fraud. It says the first task of this committee was to define academic fraud. What is it? In the abstract, the definition seems easy, even if the identification of fraud in individual cases is not. So they decided to broadly define it. The definition of fraud distinguishes between an honest mistake and deliberate misstatements made with an intention to deceive others. Now, do they have to make a misstatement, or can they just ignore it? Which this is, I believe this clears this part of it up right here, right now. Academic fraud involves a deliberate effort to deceive and includes these types of deceits. It includes plagiarism, where you steal somebody else's work, fabrication of data, you make things up that you really don't have, misrepresentation of historical sources, you lie about where you got the information from, tampering with evidence, you make it up, you add blood where there shouldn't be any blood, that type of thing to samples. Now listen to this one, selective suppression. Selective suppression of unwanted or unacceptable results, and then also theft of ideas. Well, both of these two last things have happened to me. They have totally selective suppression of unwanted or unacceptable results. They refuse to examine it, and that is their job. If they're academics and they are there to confront and learn and teach, they have. This is, absolutely a failure. No question whatsoever. Is it fraud? Is it just accident? They're that incompetent? The DNA tests don't matter. Specimens don't matter. Chemistry doesn't matter. Recreating the process doesn't matter. Anatomy doesn't matter. I find that very hard to believe anybody's that incompetent. So I'm going to have to go with the last thing here, the fraud, that is selective suppression of unwanted, unacceptable results. And that has happened 100% across the board with every one of the things I brought forward. And I brought forward everything because there's nothing correct. Electronics, the subatomic particles, totally wrong. Bohr models, totally wrong. They know all this stuff now, but they're trying to figure a way to take credit for it. I'm finding everybody's taking credit for the theft of my ideas, how to focus things, to cause magnetic field interactions, all kinds of things. And then, of course, the mud fossils, it's just running away and hiding from that. So I feel that we have a very good case for a class action lawsuit against academia, I would think, although I don't know. But I certainly, if I was a student, I'd want my money back. Okay, now, shown this hundreds of times. This is Fermilab's particles. We found the exact same particles, tried to contact them, and they refused to engage. And that's the particles. We found the exact same particles. Not only did we find them, and we can create these and squirt them out all day long through our Venturi right here. Not only that, we created fission and fusion where the black particles separated from the white. You see up here? I've shown this hundreds and hundreds of times. Not one single physicist or scholar or anywhere, any university will respond. None, zero. We created a sterile muon electron showers. I believe we get free energy from that. All right, that's just in the light realm. Now, in geology, everything's wrong there too, and I've shown that as well. And I have, well, hold on. All right, from my samples, I took 3 samples from different parts of different ancient creatures that are stone now, but we had plenty of blood in them. Sent them off. This is 7 years ago now, and there was 3 of them, and they had excellent quality DNA. It was dense, and because I took it right out of the blood. I didn't swipe something off of the edge of something. I took it right out of the blood. Here's what it says here. Excellent quality DNA was obtained from the 36-inch tip and from the lung. I'll show you the lung. The 36-inch tip's too big to bring in here. Now, I took the samples and sent them off. I didn't stick any blood in there. I'll show you what came out of them. They were saturated with blood all by themselves. And this was not cheap, and it took I don't know, a couple of months to do. And they stand behind their report. He said, just make sure that everybody understands you're the one, which is me, that took the samples out and sent them to them. So if I'm a liar, then you prove me a liar. I have the things right here. Let me show you what I sent, and then you tell me if you think I'm a liar. You see this? This is a lung, and it has all of the alveoli. It's stripped down. The pleura is missing. This fabric is called pleura. It's a coating, a fabric bag. This one, for some reason, it got stripped away. And that happens, and they even get stripped even more than this where the alveoli have holes. And I show a bunch of them like that too. Now, I'm going to show you up closer. And these things literally bled. And when I show you where I took the blood out of this one, and I'm going to do it right in front of you in a microscope, and you'll see. And this one here actually literally had blood come out of it. All right, you see those little spots? And look at the little dimples here, these little holes all over. You see these little dimple-looking things? Those are alveoli. See them right there? And each one of them has a little bit of blood still in them. Well, not every one of them, but a lot of them. And that's where they are there. All right, this one filled up with quartz. Quartz fills in voids. It literally fills in the voids, again shown a million times. Now, when they stay coated with the fabric, they really preserve fabulously. Now, when I show you what this looks like, you're going to see solid red blood. All right, that's the lung right there. Here is the lung right here that is in my microscope, right there, right above it. Now, I have it up here in this screen, and this is literally the blood that is leaking. Not really leaking, but it's pretty damn red. Now, I just put some water on there, that's why it's shiny looking. Now, I'm going to turn up the light a little bit. You see, it's just red, it's just soaked red. Now, I could scratch blood out of there right now. I'll show you exactly how I extract it. I think I used a little pin drill, as I recall, but this is basically the same thing. All right, you see that little spot right there? See that? It just comes right out of it. That's enough right there to get checked for blood. It's just all, you put water on there, and it's just nothing but blood. You see that? That's the key about blood. It rehydrates very quickly. The whole area is nothing but soaked with blood. You see that? That's a red bloody mix right now. Now, all you'd have to do is take a cotton swab or something, put it on there. You got all the blood you're going to use. He said it was dense and it was a very high quality, excellent quality. That's his words, not mine. And he said all the negative controls were negative. You see the anatomy. If you can't understand it, that's so long. You got issues, and they're not my issues. They're your issues.